Okay, guys, I'm going to try to make this video as short as possible. I have recorded this video quite a few times. I'm like, oh my god, this is way too long. So I'm going to hit on certain points. Um, so the name of this video that I'm going to react to is called Debunking the Debunkers, calling out the fake debunkers that go after big channels for views. Um, yeah, you're kind of doing the same thing here. I think your name is Ryan. Yeah, you're doing the same thing. You're going after debunkers to get more views, whatever. And you're trying to build yourself some clout. And I'm going to have to piss on your parade. Uh, I'm not. If I come across as being disrespectful, I apologize ahead of time. Anyhow, real quick before we get into this video, before anybody says that I'm doing this because I'm jealous or I'm a hater or anything like that, first off, I've been investigating the paranormal for 30 years. On and off, I've had to have breaks within those years, family and other personal reasons. I've done a lot of really cool stuff in the paranormal. I've enjoyed the hell out of it. I have appeared on a television show, Kindred Spirits, and that was very interesting. I have talked about that experience plenty of times. I'm not going to do it now, but yeah, I appeared on a television show. Also, an experience I had at a location. My experience was written about in this book. There were some liberties taken, but whatever. I've already explained that in a video for my members. So my members know, exactly what went on with that. Also, in a documentary produced, filmed, investigated in, so on, a documentary called The Harrisville Haunting, The Real Conjuring House. That has won 22 awards. At the time of recording this, we're up for 6 more awards. I don't know if we'll win those or not. I do plan on going to, well, there's no plan. I am going to that film festival and checking that out, walk the red carpet, all that fun stuff. So in the near future, look out for that stuff. So I'm not like, it's not a jealousy thing. It's not a hate thing. I don't hate other content creators. I want to make that very clear. I want people to be successful. Whether or not I agree with them or not, it doesn't matter, but we all have our opinions. We all have something to say. And I'm going to use this opportunity to say what I want to say and give my take. And I'm going to try to be respectful as much as I can, because some of the things I've seen just set a fire under my ass, because this guy is clearly out of touch with what's going on in the paranormal community. His inexperience and lack of knowledge really does show throughout this video. I will point those things out. I will also show proof of certain things in this video. So, with that, let's get this going. All right, so Haunted Nation. I believe this guy's name is Ryan. I'm gonna go ahead. Let's get into it. I want to just hit certain points.
On to seeing these debunkers and watching their videos, and as you've probably seen, we've already kind of we've had some interactions with Beardo. Beardo gets scared, does a lot of debunks, mostly critiquing and just kind of saying what he doesn't like about them. But he's mentioned some other guys that are doing debunks on these paranormal shows. For whatever reason, they like to pick on Twin Paranormal a lot, which I guess, I mean, it's a bigger channel. If you want to get some views, go after the bigger channels. They all seem to go after, Twin Paranormal, Sam and Colby, Laney and Ben, like all these groups that have had channels for years and have a big following. So obviously, why wouldn't you go after those?
All right, so his statement here is false. So first off, specifically the shape, he's been doing this longer than most of the people that he's debunked, especially Sam and Colby, Twin Paranormal, and a lot of others out there. So him saying also, hey, they go after these bigger channels. No, they've gone after smaller channels. Um, quick story here. The Shape pointed something out about a much smaller channel. I believe at that time that channel had like 2,000 subs, something like that. The Shape, yeah, he did a video on that, and he's done it to other smaller channels as well. So to sit there and say, oh, they only go after the bigger channels, to get those views and all that other stuff. No, that's not true. But of course, yes, they're going to go after the bigger channels because, well, it's the bigger channels that give them the content uh, to put out there. Content for them to go look at and do whatever it is that they do, debunking.
But they talk about how some of these guys are cringy. Well, they're YouTubers. There's a difference between a YouTuber paranormal type show
It's
and
not
a
a show.
paranormal research type show. Our films, as you can see, are more paranormal research.
Okay, so first off, you don't do films. You're doing episodes. That's what you're doing, episodes. I do episodes. The only film that's out there that I had something to do with is the Harrisville Haunting. That's a film. These are episodes. Um, Another thing that I want to bring up real quick, I may have mentioned this earlier. I don't remember. But he said, they're going after these bigger channels, for the views and stuff. Well, you're going after the debunkers for the exact same reason. Also, this video, uh, you picked this video out on purpose. Out of all of the videos you could have you chose this one. And this isn't even a debunk video. This is a reaction video reacting to some YouTubers, and then another channel's reacting to that reaction channel. Now you're reacting to it, and now here I am like an asshole reacting to it.
We're doing experiments. We're trying all these different methods to get communication, to to get visuals and things like that. That's kind of what we're geared towards. The younger groups that are on YouTube are, yes, they're doing paranormal investigations, but obviously, they're in their early 20s and their excitement level is higher and their reactions are crazier. And yes, they do kind of amplify those because they're trying to be entertaining. They want to be entertaining for people to want to watch them.
All right, so I'll say this. First off, those YouTubers that are being brought up, they're not investigating. They're nowhere near the ballpark of actually investigating. They are thrill seekers, and they're using the paranormal as a means to thrill seek. They don't do proper investigations. The way they act. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about their age. All right. So my son, he's 21 years old, and he does investigate with me from time to time. He doesn't act like that. He doesn't act like a complete asshole. He's very well grounded, and it's funny because my son, he's on spectrum. He's extremely intelligent. If you talk to him, you would literally think that you were talking to a much older adult. My son is smart. He doesn't act the way they do. He doesn't act like an asshole. He's very respectful when he investigates. Moving on.
It doesn't mean that they're fake. It just means that they might be ramping up the excitement part of it a little bit, for purposes of getting views. Which I mean, they're successful at it.
Okay. Yeah, they're successful and good for them. The problem is that they're acting. Now these guys have done, and they're in their 20s. Let's keep this in mind. These guys have done far more investigations than my son. My son has not done very many investigations. My son has gone to Waverly Hills with me, Hell's Bar Dam. He's been to Scott County Jail with me. He went to Harriman Hospital with me, and hopefully, we'll go to another place to investigate. He'll be there. Hopefully, he'll be there with us. So it's again, it's an act. They have a product that they're trying to sell. The whole thing is an act. My son, he doesn't act like that.
That's what they do. They're going after a different crowd than we are.
Oh, I forgot the point that I was trying to make just a few seconds ago. Shit. All right, so again, my son, he has not gone out and investigated as much as these YouTubers have, okay? My son displays no fear. He's not afraid. He's walked around Harriman Hospital, Waverly Hills, by himself, without a care in the world, by himself. These guys have done enough investigations to where they shouldn't be freaking out. They shouldn't be acting the way that they are acting. But it's an act. They're selling a product.
That being said, these debunkers are, for one, saying they're debunkers, but they're not debunking anything. They're basically just saying what they don't like about it. They're saying that certain things are cringy, even go as far as saying not liking what they're wearing. There's nothing debunking in this. The other thing that irritates me is that most of these debunkers don't even believe in the paranormal.
That's a false statement, misinformation, as you would call it in this video. I have watched the video. So real quick, guys, no, this is not a debunking video. He purposely chose this video because he knew it wasn't a debunking video. He knew it was a reaction video, and he did that to fit his narrative. That's why he did that. It's the only reason why he did that, because that would put these two individuals in more of a negative light.
How are you going to debunk or critique something when you know nothing about it? That makes no sense at all to me. You think everything is fake because it's paranormal. So everything that you see, oh, really? That's fake. That's fake. That's fake. Just because you haven't experienced it yourself does not mean that it's fake.
Again, an untrue statement. So most of the debunkers do believe that the paranormal is a thing. They do believe that there is something going on. The Shape has talked about having an experience. Beardo has talked about having experience. Well, Beardo, he's an investigator anyways. The Shape talked about, I mentioned this already, talked about having an experience, and yes, the Shape has actually gone out and investigated. Had you done your research, proper research, which, by the way, shows it shows that you're not a very good researcher in the paranormal. If you couldn't do something as simple as look at all these other videos, and it's very simple, I could do it in 5 seconds and show you a debunk video where these guys and a lot of others get caught red-handed faking. It's so obvious. But again, you chose this video to fit your narrative.
So we're going to get into this guy's video here. Now, this is kind of a 2-in-1 shot type video because this is a guy called The Shape doing a review or video on the Side Eye Guy's video. So I get 2 debunkers in one in this one. And
The Side Eye Guy is not a debunker. He has made that very clear. It's more of a reaction channel than anything else, and the shape he's reacting. So again, like you said, this is not a debunk video. This is a reaction video. That's all it is. Again, most of the debunkers, they do believe the paranormal is real. They do believe it's a real thing. However, they're also intelligent enough to know that the paranormal phenomena is very rare. It's very rare. And when you see these bigger channels going to these places, and everywhere they go, just everywhere they go, there's always something crazy. It's always something. It's always demons and skinwalkers and so on. I'll get into that a little bit later.
And I watched through it, and it's just complete crap. There's misinformation in there, stuff that's not correct.
Yeah, we're going to talk about misinformation there, buddy.
Look what I just saw.
I am the great.
This is some corny ass shit right here.
Yeah, because their investigations are corny.
Kidding.
Their acting is corny. Their reactions are corny.
Oh my god, it said bone. And before it said Ryan, the ghost must want to bone Ryan.
I mean, with opening like that, do I have to say anything else about the side-eyed guy? I don't think so. That
Yeah,
being
he's a
said,
moron.
his videos aren't very long. And the thing with me is, as I was...
I don't know why he had to insult the side-eye guy or the shape. I'm about to make you look like a moron, though.
Today, we're with Twin Paranormal at the McIntyre Villa in Kansas.
Tonight we are going to a place that locals claim is where the Devil's Witch had lived.
Has it become compulsory to clickbait the fuck out of all ghost hunting videos? Other than some brain cells, nothing died in this video, or even came close to it.
Not only do they, oh wow, we almost died, but if you go...
How can you hate on people for doing that? All of these paranormal groups do the exact same thing. It's not saying I actually almost died, or scariest place I've ever been. It's called promotion. It's called advertising. You want people to click on it. If you put something like that on there, it shows that something happened while you were there. So you want people to click on it so that they'll go and watch it. That's just marketing 101. That's all it is.
Go back and look at all their thumbnails, and not just them.
Okay, so he basically is saying that it is okay to make those thumbnails and those kind of titles, because it's marketing 101. And again, these YouTubers, they are actually a business. If you ever get a copyright notice from these YouTubers, you will see that they have an LLC. They are a company. They are registered. Let's go ahead and hit on this. Here we are. Twin Paranormal's YouTube page. And if anybody enjoys watching their videos, I'm absolutely fine with that. I honestly don't care what you guys watch. If it entertains you guys, that's awesome. But look at this mess here. Let's see. The night a skinwalker trapped us. We know that's bullshit. They ain't never run into a skinwalker. I love their red arrows. I mean, that's definitely a sign of bullshittery. This is why we believe in demons. Trapped by a demon. Okay, trapped by a demon. Our scariest demonic encounter ever. Stay away. So, he had said something about their titles. Oh, it says that in the title, but it didn't actually say, whatever it was he said. Yeah, actually did. This is saying, our scariest encounter. Like, this is their scariest encounter. This is literally saying trapped by Zozo. Zozo's not even a real demon. It's made up. It's pretend. Go look up the backstory of Zozo and its origin. It was made up. The night we almost died. This is implying that they almost died. But they did not almost die. They weren't even close 2 dying. Okay, trapped in the Devil's High School. Night a demon attacked us. Trapped by the real Devil's cabin. The night we almost quit. So they almost quit. This is implying that this is factual, that this actually happened. But when you watch the videos, it didn't happen. We're gonna get to the Conjuring House stuff too. The night that a demon trapped us in the real Conjuring House. So they weren't trapped inside. I promise you that. In fact, the person who owns that house, when people are investigating, follow the cursor, or don't. Okay, so we see over here that part there. I'm going to scribble over it. That part there, that is actually where the owner stays when their investigations are going on. When we did our filming there, even going back there, because we've been there 4 times. That's where they stayed. So they weren't trapped inside. There's 3 doors out front. There's a door on the side, and there's a door on the back of the house. They weren't trapped. Again, hey, this is marketing 101 though. Oh my God, everything. From skinwalkers, demons, almost dying, terrifying. Literally the list goes on and on and on. And these guys seem to be encountering a lot of demons, which is impossible because demonic hauntings are very rare. They're extremely rare. Demon. Everywhere they go, it's demons. So let me demonstrate how marketing and what they're doing, their titles, and how they carry themselves on investigations. Let's see how this affects the location, the community, and many other things. But again, you're all for this. You're okay with this. So I'm not going to play this video. I was on a podcast quite some time ago. Some of these people are staff and oversee a place called Octagon Hall. Okay, now Octagon Hall is a great location. I highly recommend it. When we went there, we didn't have a whole lot happen, but we did have a really cool event happen, and thank God it was caught on their security camera, because we wouldn't have been able to capture it. Dawn knew something had happened, but we didn't have cameras rolling because we were eating. We were sitting down, we were eating dinner. Something lifted the back of her hair up, and it was caught on their security camera, and that footage was sent to me. So anyhow, here we have these YouTubers claiming that evil was unleashed at Octagon Hall, the scariest demon house ever. And we have your boys here, Twin Paranormal. The night a demon attacked us, no demon attacked them. There are no demons there. We did this podcast because they were upset about these YouTubers coming to their location and making these claims. That doesn't reflect well on the location, the staff, the owner. Okay, there are no demons there. Now, somebody, I won't say who, reached out to one of these YouTubers and told them to take that crap down. And one of these YouTubers blocked that person and obviously didn't take the videos down. They were pissed off about it. So we were having a conversation about them coming to their location and lying, making things up. This next video clip, Ronnie, owner of Old South Pittsburgh Hospital and Harriman Hospital. Great dude. To put this in context, there was a little bit of confusion about the filming policy at both locations. And that's what he's talking about. But there's a reason why he's bringing this up. So let's go ahead here. Talking about that great marketing and misinformation.
The people who were really, I don't know what the quite word is, but they weren't very accepting of the paranormal because they have watched YouTube. And one of the fallbacks that we got, I'm going to be really honest with everybody, is we let two very well-known people in our building, or it's actually, I think it was 4 of them, they did a YouTube video, and the first place they went was Demons and Devils.
Now, because people had seen their videos, and again, there's no demons there. It's all an act, and they based all this stuff. We encountered demons. They based that on what their apps have said. Now, apps are the worst thing you can use on investigations. That is not how you investigate. You don't rely on apps. I do use apps, but I use 3 of them. There's no trickery to them. One is an automatic EVP session. The other is the Echo Box, but I use it differently than the way it was intended. And then I use another one. It's a music box app that can sense light change and vibration. Okay, guys? Now, I turn off the light sensitivity thing or whatever the hell it is on that app because IR lights will set it off. Any subtle changes in light will set it off. However, that thing on my phone, it's really hard to set off. Really hard to set off. And that is made by Ghost Spotters, or I think it's Ghost Spotters. Anyhow. Yeah, they did not do a proper investigation. They went there to film content the way that they wanted to, the way that they knew they were going to get a bunch of views, and here are their titles, okay? You want to talk about misinformation?
They went right down the path that we promised the city of Harriman we wouldn't go down. My phone rang for 2 days, and I'm not going to lie. It rang from 2 days from people all across Tennessee saying, you know, what's going on? Why are you allowing this? And to be really honest with you, we were just astounded because the talk that we had with this group prior to doing their YouTube video was that we didn't want any part of that, and they did it anyways. So that's one of the reasons, or another reason, that we put this into place. Like I said, 95%, maybe even 98% of us paranormal people out there who are doing YouTube videos are top-notch people. You guys are great. You do the truth, you do the history, you do things that just are absolutely astounding, and I love getting those videos to review. It's that 2% that we're concerned about. It's that 2% that are making things scarier than they have to be, or that are, like I said, they're talking about demons and devils, and they're talking about things that I know for a fact, because I spend more time in these buildings than anybody else, that it's just not happening. That we just don't have that situation going on in either one of our locations.
From the owner himself. Again, that marketing 101. It has negative impacts. It does have a negative impact on locations, the community. It has a negative impact on us paranormal investigators. And Ronnie is a paranormal investigator as well. He's been doing this for quite some time. He's a great dude. Again, you're going to say that stuff like this is okay. And guys, a lot of you know, I have talked about this. I've talked about this openly, about the negative impacts it has on these locations. You guys are hearing this. You guys are seeing this. You want to talk about misinformation and marketing and all that stuff? All right. Well, here's some more misinformation for you from your boys, the guys that you're simping for. You know, you're looking for the clout and stuff like that. Well, this is the Conjuring House, and I'm going to point out a few things, and we're going to unfortunately watch this video, and then I'm going to show you guys pieces of the documentary, The Harrisville Haunting. These guys have. Again, they have a lot of subscribers. They are in the position to actually inform people, well-informed people of what is the truth and what is fiction. They didn't do that here.
Over 100 years ago, a woman named Bathsheba Sherman had once lived on this land.
That's not Bathsheba Sherman. There are no known photos of Bathsheba Sherman. Bathsheba Sherman never stepped foot on the grounds of the
Rumor has
Conjuring
it
house.
that one day she was babysitting a neighboring child when that child was eventually found dead from a needle wound in the back of its head. Now immediately she was accused to have done it because she was the last one to have seen the child, but nothing was ever proven. But this is where it gets weirder. Not long after that, her husband would apparently witness her taking their own child's life before immediately pledging her allegiance to the devil and cursing all who would live on her land.
Information was discovered, the Perron family had realized that this could be the entity that has been tormenting them ever since they moved into the house. This is where Ed and Lorraine Warren come into play. Back in those days, there weren't many people trying to help others experiencing paranormal activity. So in desperate need, the Perron family had reached out to anyone who would help, and the Warrens had showed up to their door the very next day.
That is untrue. That's not what happened at all. Ed and Lorraine Warren didn't get involved till a couple weeks later, something like that. But we'll get into that more here in a few.
Story says that the first thing the Warrens did was conduct a seance to find out who exactly these spirits were inside this house. During this failed seance, the Perrons and Warrens had actually found out that Carolyn was possessed by a demon who they thought was actually Bathsheba. They had then witnessed Carolyn levitating and thrown from one room to the other right before their eyes. In that moment, Roger Perron had kicked the Warrens out of the house, saying that whatever happened to Carolyn was all their fault. The Perron family then had taken all the matters into their own hands, eventually having to leave the home. But luckily, the demon that was haunting them had decided to stay behind with the house.
Okay. Before we get into this is from the Harrisville haunting. Okay, so the whole seance thing and her being thrown into another room, that is actually not true. She was not thrown into another room. She apparently levitated and then fell to the floor. Her husband Roger came over to help her. He thought the worst, and Ed had said to Roger, "You can't touch. You must not touch the possessed." Roger then punched. And this is true. Roger then punched Ed and told him to get out. And that was it. Now, the people that we interviewed, they were there before the Warrens. They were the ones who started the investigation at the Conjuring house. And I don't know, a week or two later, I can't remember off the top of my head, they were the ones that contacted Ed and Lorraine Warren. They went to one of Ed and Lorraine Warren's lectures, and they talked to Ed and Lorraine Warren, told them about the house, what was going on, and the Warrens got involved. Now, what happened then was the Warrens told the parents, hey, look, these two guys, they're in over their head. They don't need to be a part of this. So they were left out of the investigation. Now, I'm not trying to say that to make Ed and Lorraine Warren sound bad. Yes, the Warrens are very controversial, but at the same time, they put the paranormal in the spotlight.
Were able to come to this house. What brought you to this house?
It was in the early 1970s, 1973 actually, and I was part of an organization. My brother and I, my brother Carl, were members of PIRO, based at Rhode Island College, Parapsychological Investigation and Research Organization. And as I said, there was no internet back then, so how do I get the word out that we do investigations free of charge? So I just illustrated a little ad myself, put it in a local newspaper, and it was 3 weeks later, to the day actually, that it was answered by Mrs. Carolyn Perron in Harrisville, Rhode Island. And she said she had moved in a couple of years ago to a house that was built in 1736, and things were happening that were becoming very terrifying, downright terrifying. And she was wondering if we could come and check out her situation.
A myth surrounds the Harrisville farmhouse involving Bathsheba Sherman. People claim she was a witch and a Satanist who murdered a baby with a sewing needle. Through research, however, this appears to be far from the truth.
Bathsheba Thayer Sherman Green was an actual historical person. She was a resident of Harrisville. She was a member of the Harrisville Baptist Church at the time of her life. She married Judson Sherman. They had a rather prosperous farm. And somehow, we don't know how, rumors started up about her years ago, quite a long time ago. She was accused of being a satanic witch and supposedly had killed a baby here, sacrificed it, made it look like an accident by impaling it with a sewing needle. And there's been a lot of research done on that, and there's been no actual historic evidence that that ever happened.
We contacted Kenny Biddle, a researcher and writer who has spent a year researching the history of the farmhouse. He will give us the facts on the authentic history of the property.
If Bathsheba was an evil witch that killed a baby, it would be in her obituary. That's what they put in those obituaries back then. Yeah. They condensed your life story with the highlights in that obituary. So I guarantee, without a doubt, if she had murdered a baby, it would be in that obituary.
On top of that, it's like back then they took that seriously. If you were considered a witch, you would have been shamed for it and even killed for it.
Definitely won't be buried in a Baptist cemetery.
It would be in the newspapers. Yeah. We should be able to find newspaper articles about this. Mm-hmm. But there's nothing. But unfortunately, between the movie and the books that were written about it, and then the hundreds of YouTube channels that just repeat shit ad nauseum, this is the story that's out there. This is what people know. It's the common knowledge now. And it's an uphill battle for people like me and documentaries like this to present the real history. The only death that was on the property was Jarvis Smith. Was a man that he was walking along, and he actually it was wintertime. It sounds like he was drunk, and he took shelter in one of their sheds, a shed that's no longer there. That's been gone for decades. But he was there, and he died overnight. He froze to death on the property.
All right, so Twin Paranormal and many other YouTubers, have they just spent, 5 minutes doing proper research? These are things that they could have found out for themselves, and they could have used their platform. And because, again, they're a huge channel, they could have cleared Bathsheba Sherman's name, but they didn't. Instead, they used keywords to protect themselves, like, alleged or apparently, things like that. And let me show you again what's those titles that you think are okay because it's marketing and getting the views and stuff. Let me show you the damage that has caused a woman who's dead, can't defend herself. Let's look. That is Bathsheba Sherman's headstone. Because people believe that she's a witch, people have destroyed her headstone. Dude, let me tell you, hey, marketing is wonderful, and that's disgusting. And see, again, you will sit there and defend their thumbnails and their titles, saying, "Hey, this is marketing. It's just to get people to click on videos, get the views and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a great way to make money too." But yeah, this is another result of bad information being put out there, and yeah. Now, I want to make it very clear. This headstone was destroyed before Twin Paranormal even came into the YouTube thing. Point being, though, is that misinformation can cause shit like this to happen. So before you sit there and spew out these debunkers putting out misinformation, you better put your self in check with your buddies, because these YouTubers are causing a lot of issues with their titles, the way they present locations, and so on. Okay, Future Joe, kind of sort of Future Joe. So there's something that I meant to bring up in regards to, this is just marketing. So let me give you guys, specifically you there, Ryan, prime examples of, the marketing that these paranormal channels are doing, and some other issues that it is causing. So a lot of these locations, they're historical locations. There are children who go to these locations for field trips or with their family. People go to these places to check them out. There are a lot of people who want nothing to do with demons. And these places will lose business because, well, there's demons there and they don't want no part of that. I won't name the location. If they want to put that information out there, they can. But there has been a location where certain YouTubers have gone to, claimed that they were demons, and just made up a bunch of stuff. A teacher found out what was going on. She seen these videos, and that field trip ended up getting canceled because they didn't want their children around demons, even though there's no demons at this historical location. There are investigators out there. They don't want nothing to do with demons, and they see these videos and like, nope, we're not going. And that hurts. That hurts the location. That hurts their business, and yeah, it has that marketing that you seem to think is okay. It really does damage not just the location, but the community around it, and also the paranormal field. But you're okay with it.
Did you just see that balloon get pulled down?
I did.
Holy
What the hell? Oh my God, no way, yeah.
I don't even see how people watch this crap.
The same reason why people watch your crap. Find it entertaining. And isn't that what it's all about? Entertaining? Isn't that what you said earlier?
Shut
Crazy thing,
up.
but maybe, just maybe, the balloon is moving because that's exactly what balloons do.
You tell him, side-eyed guy. I'm so mad I can't.
Okay, so again, speculation. The paranormal is the paranormal. When something like that happens, you can't really say if it's paranormal or not paranormal. The balloon was up there above the door, sticking in one spot for a long time, and then randomly started coming down, and then went all the way down the stairs. That could have been the way the airflow was going and just took it in that direction. Absolutely, 100% possible. It's also possible that something was guiding it down the stairs. You can't say it's fake. You can't say it's real. It was just something that happened that was kind of cool, since it happened while they were there investigating paranormal. It was just something kind of neat. So to say that it's fake is irresponsible.
So irresponsible. It's irresponsible of you to say that they just flat out said it was fake. They didn't. Nowhere did they say that was fake. They gave another explanation as to why that balloon moved on its own. Okay. Here's the problem that they have with that footage, is that they did not try to debunk it at all. No, they didn't say it was a ghost, but they didn't try to debunk it, and they should have tried to debunk it at that point in time. They didn't. There's a reason why they didn't. and that is they want their viewers to believe that it's a ghost. And without saying it was a ghost, when you watch their reactions and watch what's going on, their viewers are going to think it's a ghost. They're going to play it up as if it is a paranormal event happening. They're not going to say, oh, you know what, that could be anything, guys. No, because it doesn't fit what they're trying to sell. Again, marketing. Remember? Marketing. They have a product to sell. That product is videos. That's the problem. They didn't bother to go debunk it, give another explanation. Nothing. Nada. That's the problem. That's the point you are missing.
Saying something is faked, you really you got to have proof of that in order to call somebody out for being fake. It's got to be pretty damn obvious that, that's not what happened. But
okay, so, he says, oh, you got to have proof that somebody's faking. There has been proof. There's been so much proof that not just Twin Paranormal, but many others are faking. You chose not to show those videos. That it is very clear that fakery is going on. You didn't show the videos where these guys are using, not Twin Paranormal specifically, but these YouTubers using fishing line, magician string, because it's clear, you can see it in their videos. The way they edit their videos, the quick cuts, all kinds of other stuff.
It's also the name of whatever possesses the doll in the basement.
Holy
Meet John.
Ancient spirit.
ancient spirit!
What the
Meet John, the
That
ancient
was-
spirit.
that's
Yeah,
acting.
my whole bone Ryan gag doesn't sound so far-fetched now, does it?
Is there something evil in this mansion?
Okay, so that's a bad cut. I don't know if it's something that Twin Paranormal did or the Side Eye did or the Shape did. That's a bad cut. So try to take it back just a little bit.
Spirit?
What the
Meet John, the ancient spirit.
Yeah, my whole bone Ryan gag doesn't sound so far-fetched now, does it?
Is there something evil in this mansion?
So he said, "Is there's, huh? You know what? That is an error. That is a retake. He said house first. Then he said mansion or mansion first, house, whatever. That's a retake. Did any of the debunkers get that? Okay. If this video wasn't cut by the Shape or the Side Eye guy, if they kept everything intact, that's a bad cut on them.
I want to touch again on those apps. Those apps, which they have said several times that, if they helped make the app, then they would only put words in there that would be relevant to them, to increase their so-called activity during an investigation. It's not how that works. There's a huge data bank of words that are programmed into these apps. It's same as an Ovilus. An Ovilus is this little black box. It's the same thing. There's a huge data bank of words that are put in there. Now, he was saying at one point, I don't even know if maybe hadn't gotten to it yet, where to get it to say, ask questions that would be like, what's your favorite kind of pickle? For one, if you're a paranormal investigator and you go to a haunted location and you ask that question, you should walk your ass out of that house and drive home and not do another paranormal investigation, because that's just straight up ignorance.
All right, so the next investigation that I do, we're going to be at the Monroe house for 3 days. We have to finish filming just some things here and there for the next documentary. Guys, please remind me to ask whatever's there what its favorite pickle is. Okay? Let's do that. So, all right, that's a pricky thing to say. we ask all kinds of crazy questions, okay? We don't like to sit there and ask the standard BS questions. I have asked some pretty off-the-wall questions and have gotten responses. Okay, that's our job, that's our goal, to do whatever it takes without crossing certain lines to capture evidence, okay? So, you know, for you to sit there and say, oh, you know, if you ask that question, you don't, you go away, don't be the paranormal. Wow, dude. That's a real dick thing to say.
On the other hand, I have heard words come out of there that are like completely random. Spaghetti and market and really random words. So it doesn't mean that just because they're getting words that are relevant to them, like their names, in these data banks, it has every name you could possibly think of. So is it cool that it said his name? Absolutely. And not John, Jill, Jacob, any other name you could think of. It didn't say any of those names. It said Ryan. Now, there is no way to get that device or that app to say what you want it to say at any moment. There is no way.
You want to bet? There's the app. I'm going to demonstrate something. Before I demonstrate something, I had went to a location. I was talking to some of the staff. Some of the craziness that's been going on with these YouTubers and crap like that. That was something that they were talking about. They weren't happy about it. So anyhow, I'm not going to name the location. I'm not going to name the people who were there. But yeah, they're involved in this video. They had me come over to their monitor, which is hooked to their security system, which also carries audio. They had said to me, this guy over here, they didn't play the video at that point in time. I said, but this guy over here, why is he taking his phone and just doing this with it? Just slinging it like that? I said, I don't know. I didn't know. She gave me the answer. She said they're manipulating the spirit talker. They asked a specific question, and they wanted to get a response that was either the exact response they needed or close enough to it. They spent like 5 minutes, you know, just doing this to the phone to get the response that they want. I'm not going to tell you what the response was. I'm not going to tell you guys what the question is, because that will definitely give away who it was and where it happened at. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to run the Spirit Talker app. And I'll just let it run just without doing anything here for a few seconds. I want to try to make this video as short as possible. Okay, so I'm going to do exactly as they did. Insight. Let's bring up another word. Emotional. Can you tell me your name, please? Nora. Do you understand how easy that was to get that name? I'm going to leave. That was just random. Now, where are you from? Caves. Wow. About a mile and a half away, there's some caves. Let's see. Are you a nice spirit? Oh, Nicholas. Nick. Contained. Do you understand how easy that was? It took very little effort. Where are you from? Violate. Okay. Where are you from? Are you buried here? Oh, she will harm you. But again, with good editing, they can make it seem like they are actually getting responses. In fact, let's do this. I'm not going to ask a question. Here we go.
gathering energy.
Do you need energy to speak with us? A nice little cut, little edit. Oh my God, you guys, it said, we're gathering energy. That's a direct response. Okay. Do you need energy to speak with us?
We're gathering energy. Sir.
Are you a male or female? Oh my God, you guys, it said sir. Or, well, no, I can sit here and just do this all day long.
Close by.
Where are you buried at? Oh my God, you guys, it said my body's close by. No way. By trick editing. That's how simple it is to manipulate these devices.
This is a self-running app that you hit go and it does its thing. You can't manipulate it in any way. There's nothing you can do to it to make it say what you want to say, what you want it to say at any given time.
Proved you wrong, didn't I?
That's not how this stuff works.
Ask it.
This is where he says it.
His favorite pickle is. What's your favorite brand of pickle? Ask
Any investigator in my group, if they ask that question, they're sitting on the curb outside the rest of the night.
anything.
You're a real asshole. I'm gonna, guys, again, remind me to ask when I go to the Monroe house what his favorite brand of pickles is, or favorite pickle. One of the two, doesn't matter. Again, we're trying to get a response. No, you know, we sit around here, we ask all kinds of stupid questions. A lot of times we're trying to get a response, you know. After a while, you know, black hair. Oh my God, you guys, was talking about me? I got black hair. Anyways, so going in there with the same old questions. These ghosts, these spirits, whatever it is, they hear these things repeatedly. Hey, what's your name? Did you die here? Did you delete yourself? Were you murdered? This, that. It's the same old damn questions. Now, a lot of times what we'll do is that we will sit around and I'll be like, you know what, I'm hungry. I'm like really hungry. You know what I could go for? Stuffed shells. Oh, I love stuffed shells, by the way, guys. Anyhow, and we'll start talking about our favorite kind of foods. And we're like, hey, what kind of food do you like? And it's really no different than what the shape just threw out there. What, is it silly to think that, there's only one person here, but anyways, there's nothing wrong with asking a question like that. And you know, that's a real asshole thing to say. Sorry, I'm not trying to be insulting. But at the same time, too, your inexperience and lack of knowledge is really shining here. You really, before you make videos like this, you really need to cover yourself. You really do need to do proper research. And just again, by the way, you went and did research on, these debunkers. Your research in the paranormal is probably horrendous. All right, so I may have overshot it, but he talked about also EVPs, being really hard to fake. It can be done in post, but on the spot, I don't want to put words in this dude's mouth, but he's putting his foot in his mouth. So anyhow, I have my digital recorder here, guys. It's a crappy one. This is what paranormal investigators, the bigger channels, they love using garbage. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, they love using these because they can, it's a psychological thing. Audible pareidolia. If an EVP is really hard to hear, they'll be like, oh my God, this is what it said. Then they'll play it back and then everybody hears it. It's a psychological thing. They won't dare, though, use recorders like this or especially this, because they won't get any EVPs. I've noticed that a lot of these guys, they get a shit ton of EVPs. They're using cheap-ass recorders, and any little tiny sound, and guys, I made a video on this, and I've proven this, any little sound that you make can sound like a voice or footsteps. I've shown this. So what I'm going to do right here, right now, is I'm going to show you exactly how you can fake an EVP, even in a live stream. And I made a video on this. So, we can see here, hopefully. Nothing there. It's empty, right? Now, I'm going to ask a question. What do I want to ask? Oh, I know what I want to ask. How do you feel about pickles? Let's play it back. How do you feel about pickles? I'll go ahead and replay that because sometimes this microphone doesn't like to pick up recordings. How do you feel about pickles? That wasn't hard, was it? And I demonstrated this in one of my Can It Be Faked videos. I had actually went to a cemetery and faked a bunch of EVPs to show that yes, it can be done. It can be easily done. I even purposely used a different tone to ask a question because I'll tell you what I did. The questions were already recorded on this recorder, so all I had to do is pretend, hit a button, and just pretend that I'm asking the question right then and there, and then I had a digital recorder with the responses close by. All I had to do was time it perfect, and I mean, like, it was easy. And yeah, I was getting responses. Nobody except for one person picked up the fact that my tone in one in one question that I asked was different. So yes, that can certainly be faked. What else is there?
If you guys ever want to do an investigation here, we highly advise you guys. They have a website.
And there it is.
And there it is. They are getting evidence, and with them getting evidence, they're going to promote the location because they're going to say, we caught some stuff and we had an exciting time. Other people need to experience this. Now, if they hadn't gotten anything all night and it just felt like walking around grandma's house, do you think they're going to do that kind of video at the end or that kind of thing at the end and say, if you want to investigate this, you got to go? No.
Yes.
They wouldn't have even made a film about it.
The owners of the property are clearly pushing for the haunted house tourist attraction market. Good.
All right, so because I want to get through this as quick as possible. All right, so anyhow, guys, I'm gonna let this over here, keep going. All right, so yes, indeed, there are locations that are not actually haunted. I'm not gonna name them. Yeah, these guys have gone there, and demons. I'm not saying Twin Paranormal specifically, but those who have been mentioned in this video have gone to this location and claimed demons and all this other stuff. Now, I had been to this location quite a few times. I didn't experience shit, and I even said to the owner, I'm like, I'm not getting anything. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe it's not really haunted. And he straight out said, no, I don't think it's haunted either. I don't even believe in this stuff. And he said, hey, people are going to come here and chase their own shadows and they want to pay me to do that, I'm fine with it. I'll take their money. The other thing too is that I had to be careful with this one. A friend of mine owns a couple of Airbnbs, and this person rented an Airbnb to somebody or a group in this video. But this person had no idea what they were doing. They're just like, oh, you know, I'm going to get this Airbnb. I'm going to take these headphones off. It's hot. So they go to this Airbnb and they tell people, oh, this is a residential case. And they called us in here to investigate their house. And here are these claims, all the claims. And guess what? Demons and all kinds of craziness. They faked the whole thing. And then they put it out there. And okay, this is getting annoying. I gotta stop it. So yeah, they made this whole thing up about this residential, which was actually an Airbnb, being haunted, and ooh, demons, and oh my god, we're having all these experiences, and their apps are going off, all kinds of crazy stuff. So it was probably a couple months afterwards. This friend of mine sends me a text message and says, "Do you know who these individuals are?" And I'm like, "I don't know them personally. Why?" Well, they came to my Airbnb saying that it was somebody's house and that they were called there to investigate and claim that there were demons and stuff there. And this person was pissed. I don't want to say too much about it because this person may be taking legal action. And again, as an example from earlier, yes, they certainly will make up things and lie because money. You heard it from the owner of Old South Pittsburgh Hospital and Harriman Hospital. I didn't play the video because again, trying to like keep this video as short as possible. You can go find it and listen. Yes, they will make things up. There are location owners out there who have made up history of the location, and instead of going in and doing the proper research, they go in there like, oh, okay, so, you know, this stuff happened. Okay, so this is it. This is our story. And oh my God, all kinds of fantastic shit happens. And again, I once again prove that with the Conjuring stuff. Quick story. I went to Blue Ridge, Georgia to investigate with some friends. Two of the investigators, they said they did the research. Based on their research, we went and investigated this place. Off of that, long story short, the stories that they researched, they were not real. They were made up. Excuse me, guys. Anyhow, they made up, the stories were made up. They claimed there was a witch, then they claimed the witch was hung, then the spirit of the witch supposedly possessed the sister, so they went and they hung her sister, only to find out they're never a witch. We don't know how one person died that was being called a witch. I couldn't find anything on there, but I found the death certificate of her sister, and she died something to do with her stomach. People said that this place was used as an orphanage, and horrible things happened to children there. Children had died there. There was this evil doctor who was doing horrible things to patients. Just all kinds of crazy stuff. None of it is true. It was never an orphanage. It was designated to be an orphanage. But when I went and I did my research, it was a completely different story. And I was pissed because we investigated that location the wrong way. Future Joe again. I got to cut in here real quick. With that story, I also need to add that the caretaker showed us a photo of 3 women dressed as witches, and said that one of the women in that photos was the person who lived in this house, this location. So I took a picture of that picture, and I thought it was kind of weird because the way they were dressed, it was like weird. Like the time period didn't match up. It was very stereotypic of like what a much older like Hollywood movie would portray as a beautiful witch, right? So I do a Google reverse search on the photo, and that photo traced back to a costume shop, a high-end costume shop out in Hollywood. But you're gonna sit here and you're gonna defend these kids, which is ridiculous. You guys would be surprised. I'm not gonna throw names out there, but a lot of you guys would be heartbroken to know who is faking their stuff and how they're doing it. And a lot of that just has to do with some trickery at the location and with video editing. I could use that Spirit Talker app, and I can just let it actually say a word and record it. But then when that word comes through, by smart editing, I can be like, hey, we'll just pretend a name came through. Like, just randomly a name come through, okay? With smart editing, I can make it look like I asked, hey, what is your name? And then the name comes through by smart editing. Oh my God, we got a response, guys. We got a response. That's how a lot of this stuff is done. You're arrogant. You're very arrogant. Your inexperience really does show. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to end it here, guys, because it is late. It's almost 4 in the morning, actually. And I need to edit this video. I was supposed to already have this out. Anyhow, guys, thanks for watching. Be nice to this guy. I don't want anybody throwing mean shit at him or anything like that. I don't hate this dude. I'm making a point. Anyhow, I love you all. See you all later.